Beneath the plague soil. You know that feeling when the world you live in feels just a shade too real, as if the edges of your reality are fraying, and the whispers of madness begin to creep in? That was me, standing in the middle of my family's living room, the weight of their scorn still fresh in my mind. Yet I had returned to a battlefield I once thought I could conquer. Look at him, all dressed up in that ridiculous lab coat. What's next? A science fair? My brother's laughter echoed through the room, his voice a cruel, high-pitched mockery that dug deep into the pit of my stomach. I had just driven hundreds of miles to arrive here, back to the home that had once been my sanctuary, now a tomb filled with the ghosts of laughter that had always felt like daggers. Years ago, they had laughed when I first mentioned the necrotic ecology studies I was diving into. My mother had wrung her hands, shaking her head as if trying to dispel some unseen curse. You're going to disgrace us, you know. You need to focus on real science, not this obsession. The word obsession dripped with disdain, as if it were a plague I had chosen to embrace. But I had embraced it. I had followed it into the depths of darkness, losing myself in the study of dead lands, places where microorganisms had once thrived, but now lay barren and lifeless, as if the earth itself had been cursed. I had been the fool, the one who dared to believe that there were truths buried beneath the soil, truths that could unravel us all. And now, I was not just a researcher. I was a harbinger of what lay beneath. I had returned with accolades, with respect from people who had once dismissed me as delusional. Yet, standing in front of my family, I felt the familiar pang of humiliation gnawing at my insides. They were still trapped in their ignorance, their refusal to accept the weight of what I had unearthed. "Do you really think you're some kind of expert now?" My sister sneered, her arms crossed defiantly. "What have you even found? A couple of weird bugs? A patch of dry dirt?" The laughter from the others was a chorus, a symphony of disbelief that stung far more than I could have anticipated. But I had come back armed with the truth, a truth that had cost me everything. I had survived the horrors of the Deadlands, the nightmares that had clawed at my sanity. I had witnessed the things that thrived in decay, the shadows that whispered behind my back, the dark tendrils of my own mind that I had to wrestle with every day. I had stared into the abyss, and the abyss had stared back. "Come outside," I murmured, my voice barely a whisper against the cacophony of their mockery. "I want to show you something." Reluctant but curious, they followed me out into the twilight. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and something rotten that clung to my clothes like a shroud. I led them to a small patch of land I had meticulously preserved, a place of my own making where I had gathered samples from the dead lands I had catalogued, a living testament to the world they had ridiculed. "Look closely," I urged, my heart racing as I knelt beside the soil, fingers trembling over the darkened earth. "This is more than dirt. It's a portal. A mirror reflecting what lies beneath the surface of our understanding." They exchanged glances, skepticism etched across their faces. But I pressed on, my fingers digging deep into the soil, my breath hitching in my throat. I could feel it, the familiar pulse of the land, the tremors of life that had been twisted into something monstrous. With a sudden jolt, I pulled a small, withered root from the ground. The moment it broke free, a wave of energy surged through the air, a crackling presence that sent chills down my spine. The shadows around us flickered, and for a moment the atmosphere seemed to warp, bending under the weight of something ancient and hungry. What is that?" My father's voice trembled, breaking through the silence like shattering glass. His bravado had faded, replaced by a dawning realization of the darkness I had unearthed. "Look closely," I said again, my voice steadier this time. As I held the root aloft, The air thickened, and an unearthly sound resonated from within the earth, a low, guttural growl that reverberated through our bones. I watched, spellbound, as the shadows elongated, twisting around us like dark tendrils reaching for warmth, for life. Their laughter faded, replaced by a palpable fear that crackled in the air. I saw it in their eyes, the dawning horror of what they had dismissed. The knowledge that I had not been crazy, but merely the first to glimpse the truth. Suddenly, the ground beneath us quaked, and I fell to my knees, the root clutched tightly in my hand. With one last desperate effort, I yelled, "You mocked me, but this is real! It's all real!" The shadows surged forward, coiling around my family, and I could see their faces twist with terror. They were trapped in the web of their ignorance, and I felt a surge of vindication wash over me, fierce and unyielding. They had become the embodiment of everything they had dismissed. The very mockery that had once haunted my dreams now echoed in their screams. As the darkness enveloped them, I stood, a bittersweet satisfaction filling the void they had once created. "This is the truth you refuse to see," I whispered, a chilling finality to my words. "I am not your disgrace. I am the warning you ignored." With that, I turned away, letting the shadows take hold of them, knowing that I